Tea Live. My name is Angela. Today we're going to be serving up some hot tea on mental wellness and fitness during the holiday season. It is the time of year that many people go through bouts of depression and they worry about the things that they don't have versus the things that they do have. And it's a time that some people really struggle. And I've been there before. I've been through things like that. And I want to focus on the fact that, especially during the Thanksgiving part of it, that's a lot easier for me because I'm focusing on being thankful and there's no demands. I don't feel like there's demands being placed on me. And it's just a time to enjoy family and friends and eat a lot, and I like to eat. So Thanksgiving is a little bit better, but sometimes during Christmas and the other holidays, it can be so commercial that it can get depressing because you don't know what to give people. They have so much, and you get a little bit down in the dumps because you feel like you're not meeting expectations and things like that. And then sometimes people are lonely because they don't have a significant loved one that they wish they had in their lives. But the great thing about it is someone loves you, whether it be your children, your parents, or your friends at work, or just family that are maybe far away. Get with people who do love you and try to keep yourself emotionally fit. Don't overspend on things that you don't need. And in the long run, people don't appreciate. So do things that matter. One of the things that matter, spending time with family and friends. And I like to create beautiful spaces that allow that to happen. No matter what your meal is, a pretty tablescape works every time. So today we're doing our Holiday Glam tablescape. I'm so excited about it. I love this tablescape. It is featured in this season's CEO magazine. So if you're able to check in and get that on CEO magazine, this winter edition, I believe is what it's called. So let's get started. The Holiday Glam table consists of a lot of metals. So the trend for right now is metals and golds and silvers and bronze and all of these that you see that I put on this table. And it is so showy and spectacular, but yet it's not a lot of color, so it's not overwhelming. It has just the right amount of bling. So I'll tell you how I created this particular table. So because it has so much sparkle going on, I wanted to bring it down some by including some elements from nature, which I added with these apple blossom stems. And then on the apple blossom stems, you know I love the glitter. So I had to brush on a little glitter on the stems, on the petals, and also on the stems, just to give it like a little sparkle so that when the light hits it, it shows up really pretty. Now the other thing is I put some pearls on, and I actually glued these pearls. They're in kind of long, they were like this. The pearls were on strings like this. And I didn't glue them one by one. I kind of just cut off a length of it and then wrapped it around and then glued it in certain spots so it stayed on. So I bedazzled my stems, and then I stuck them in a vase, and then I filled the vase one by one with ornaments. And I know you have a ton of ornaments that you could use. And even if you wanted to do this kind of tablescape and not use silver, gold, and bronze and do the metal colors that I've chosen, you could do this with any colors. So pick your color, and then you could go from there with it. So you fill the vase up with ornaments to give it stability and kind of finish it off, make it really pretty, because you don't want the stems showing inside the vase. So the ornaments hide the stems, and it gives it the showpiece that it really is. Then what I also did was I put a mirror on the table. So if you look down under here, that's a mirror. So the mirror acts like a plate or a platter for all of the ornaments that I then stacked on top of the mirror. And I use varying sizes. We have these really big ones here at the store. So I put those on, and I mix them with these little tiny ones that you can buy from any store and filled it in. Then I think the piece de resistance on this is to use some glass ones here and there, because the glass ones the light goes through them and they're just really pretty. And again, we have these here at the store. So that works out really well. Just vary it up, different shapes, different material. So along with the beaded bedazzled one, some really sleek ones. This is very inexpensive. You can get them like $3.99 for 12. This is this one. And then the individual ones, you don't have to break the bank on this project. This is really easy to do and a lot of fun. So on top of the mirror are all of these ornaments, and then on the very top that people see is where you want to strategically place your prettier ones. And that's how that is done. And then this is what you end up with. A holiday glam table that your guests will marvel at. So try that and then let me know how it works for you. Go back to this video or just drop me a message in the inbox and say, I tried this, it worked really well, and hopefully it will do great things for you. But one thing that I need to tell you is these little pearls that pop out the side, they just add like a little flirty fun aspect to it, and they just kind of finish it all off, because this otherwise is a traditional piece. If I do just flowers coming out of it, and the ornaments kind of contemporary it up a little bit, but once I add this spray of pearls coming out, what it does then is it makes it whimsical, it makes it fun, and it just makes it, it takes it over the top, is what that does for me. And sometimes over the top is great. All right, so underneath the tablescape, I started with a beautiful tablecloth. Now, this tablecloth has all kinds of detail on it. And the color, again, is just very muted, monochromatic. It emulates the copper and golds that I use on with the ornaments. And it has this beautiful detail on it. And you know I love the placemats that you can wipe off. So this is the copper one. It's got a little shimmer to it. I hope you can see that. It shines, you can wipe it off and then move on with your day. And then of course, I told you I use these gold platters all the time. They're the gift that keeps giving. You just put them in your cabinet or in a drawer someplace and pull them out when you need them. Now, the metal finish, see the success in a great tablescape happens when you keep the theme going. So don't halfway do it. Don't do a little bit of this and a little bit of that and then stop doing it. So the main thing to do is to keep using the metal finishes. So here I did pewter. Here I did pewter so that the napkin ring picks up on the other silver finishes. And I keep coming close to the camera, so I'm gonna back up a little bit. And so, all right, so then after that, again, we used, I showed these to you all last time too. So they like the silver handle with the pewter metal on it. They're fabulous, and they just work for all kinds of occasions. And they work with my tablecloth that has the golds and the bronzes that are very muted. And these pieces, by putting them up top, putting them on top of the tablecloth, it makes everything rise up a little bit. Over here, I decided I was going to do a copper placemat. Then I was going to do a gold placemat. So don't be afraid to mix and match things. Everything doesn't have to be the same thing. I mix and match the charger. Over here I did flat. Over here I did more of a frilly charger. And I think that encourages people to not take a tablescape that looks like this not too seriously. And even if you want to, if the pattern, the color, or the style works, I could do a different charger at every setting. I could do a different plate at every setting. As long as some of my things match up to help to make the theme work. Because it's all about the theme. All about the theme. Have I driven that point home enough? It's all about the theme, okay? All right, so now I did, to show you again that you can mix and match. At one place, I did this all gold and a little hints of color. It has green and purple and some other really, really formal looking glass, champagne glass. And then here I did just a plain one with a gold rim around it. And I showed you this one before the last time. So things that I use all the time that just never go away. They work day in and day out for any occasion, whether you're doing something for people at work or you're just going to have some family friends over. These pieces work. All right, so the thing I want to move on to now is the nailed it or failed it. And nailed it or failed it. What I love about the first picture is that it is a little dainty, it's very crisp, it's very clean, and it brings in a little of a nature from the outdoors coming in like we did here. So that is such a hot thing to do right now. Bring a little of the outdoors in. Doesn't have to be a lot like in this picture. You can even do like on your napkin, you can do a little fir twig on your napkin and put a ribbon around it. And that would be bringing a little bit of the outdoor in. If we move on to the next nailed it, that would be a much more of a contemporary picture. And it has some ornaments hanging. It looks like from a chandelier. And the walls are concrete. And if you look carefully, the bowl in that image looks like it's concrete too. So the wall and the bowls kind of match up to help drive that theme home. And then they did a little sparkle like we did by adding a little bit of gold to that look. Those are all nailed it. And I told you all too, when you're doing holiday and inviting people over, it's really hard to fail it because just opening yourselves up to having guests over and having people in your home is in and of itself a great nail it. So I hate to say that anybody failed that, but in this case, there is a failed it this week. And the failed it is, all right, so the reason why this image failed it is because none of the elements relate to the other. Okay, so yes, those are plants and they came from plants. But then we have a pine cone in the one thing, then we have a fern that's a plant, and then we have a succulent that's a plant, and on one candle, not quite sure why that's there, and then another little dish that has something else on it. So my point was, when you're doing a tablescape, drive home the theme. I love the pine cones. So that would have been great even by itself. The pine cones with a candle in the middle of it, that would have been enough. And then what would have made it a success is on the place settings, where the place settings are, which right now there are none on this. If there were, I gave you that little clue that you could do your napkins and then put like a little piece of pine, spruce, or fir or something on it and then tie it up with a ribbon. If that had been in all those place settings, that would be a perfect way to round that off, minus the succulents and the fern, of course. So that is a big fat failed it. All right, for this week's Ask Angela, the question was, and this was from somebody on Instagram, someone on my Instagram page asked me this question. Theirs was, how do I keep everyone from coming into my kitchen because everybody wants to congregate in the kitchen? That is so typical. It really is. But with a little bit of thought, you can get people to spread out around the entertaining area a little bit more. And what you start doing is when they come into the door, beforehand, you stage this beforehand. You go ahead and you put drinks in other parts of the house. So if you want them to go into the living room and you want to have maybe tea or coffee there, you go ahead and set up the tea or coffee service, or you go ahead and put a bottle of wine there and some glasses on a tray so that people know that, oh, this area is also a part of the party. And if people are going to play cards or some other game, it's snowing. If people are going to play cards or some other game, then you can put out a table with cards on it there so that they know that we can do something else over here. So whatever it is you want people to do, think in advance how you want space to be used and where you want people to go in your space. and go ahead and preset it up. That way when they come in, you can say, oh yes, hey, come on in. We'll be having coffee over here. We'll be having wine over here. I have some hors d'oeuvres over there. Please help yourself to those. And then you start moving around. Don't stay in the kitchen. So you start moving around, and then your guests will follow, especially if you say, hey, come around, let me show you this. And then you take them into there and have a couple people who you have predetermined are going to help you keep people out of the kitchen. Okay, guys, so that was Design Tea Live for today. I thank you for having a few sips with me. Again, my name is Angela. I'm with Wilson Lee Interiors. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at noon for Design Tea Live. So, below, leave me a couple comments, like and subscribe our page. Thank you, and have a great rest of the day.